What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Steph Curry. And this has been coming up. I've been talking about this topic for a while with my friends, right? And I speak about how Steph Curry has managed to fly under the radar and and how important it is to fly under the radar, right? Because Steph Curry is somebody who loves the game of basketball, and once you get to the professional levels of playing basketball, it, for a lot of people, it takes the fun out of it. The business side of the game, the political side of the game takes the fun out of it. But I think that Steph Curry, because of his father who played in the NBA, was well prepared for what he was going to face in the league. Even with the decision of Steph Curry to go and sign with Under Armour instead of Nike, right? Because if Steph Curry had a sign with Nike, there is, with Nike, there would have been a lot more politics, and then Nike would have wanted to promote Steph Curry as one of the faces, and even included him more so in that GOAT conversation. But because he was with Under Armour, they kind of took him out of that arena or out of that conversation, right? And I think it was done on purpose because when you look at the athletes who are in there, the Nike athletes and the guys who are in the conversation, it's just a whole lot of politics that come along with that, right? Kevin Durant, uh, LeBron James. And if you love this game of basketball, like I think like Kevin Durant loves basketball and he just wanted to play basketball, but I think he was kind of turned off, as a lot of athletes are in professional sports, when it comes to the politics and the business side of it, right? They love the sport, but they do not like the business side of it. And I think that Steph Curry, like I said, was forewarned, and they made decisions based on the fact that his father had experience in the league, he had friends in the league, and he knew how to steer his son away from certain things, whereas though he wouldn't get caught up in all that political side of it. So what that did, it allowed Steph Curry to focus on just focus on the game and work on getting better, being the best player that he can be. Sort of like his career, in my opinion, reminds me of Tim Duncan, right? Tim Duncan was, he was a blue collar type basketball player, just went to work and just did his thing, and he also flew under the radar. Tim Duncan played the same time that Kobe Bryant played, and what happened was Kobe Bryant got the attention. Kobe Bryant is he's a flashier, he's flashy. He's a more flashy basketball player, so people quite naturally gravitated towards Kobe Bryant. Whereas though, if you look at their careers, they had this, both had successful careers. Kobe had 5 championship rings. Tim Duncan had 5 championship rings, and so Kobe made a lot of money. Tim Duncan made a lot of money, and so I think if I had to choose, I would have rather have done it the way that Tim Duncan did it. I would have preferred to have done it the way that that Steph Curry is doing it. Because when you get into the politics of it all, it just like I said, just with most players, it just make you seem like you just don't have a love for the game, right? So uh Steph was allowed to focus on the game, and and just to become the best basketball player that he could be. Yeah, and a lot of the decisions that he made, were not based on politics. He was able to stay at Golden State for his entire career, and staying in Golden State for his entire career, in my opinion, made him a better player because also he learned how to persevere, like navigate the ups and the downs that come with playing on a basketball team. Never having to start all over again. Never having to start all over again. Because if you move from team to team, Now you have to develop the chemistry again. Get to know your teammates better. Get to know your teammates, their habits, and what they like to do, what they don't like to do, and things like that. As far as like on the court, and learn their, you don't want that's tough to have to keep starting over. But Steph Curry did it the right way, and I just think it's a tribute to his father, that's having that experience and setting him up. Because I really don't believe that it was a mistake that Steph Curry made the decisions that he made, um, and it worked out for him. And I think he should be an example of how you want to, like, let somebody else do all that. Be the face of the league. To me, it just don't seem like it's worth it. Like, when people had it was a conversation about Michael Jordan and Clyde Drexler, right? Both guys, I like Clyde Drexler when he was in college, but I was a bigger Jordan fan. But Clyde Drexler was bad when he was he was in college at Houston. So, and almost the same type of basketball player as Michael Jordan, a slasher, you know. But to me, I think everything that Michael Jordan has to go through, as far as the fame and the politics and stuff that come with basketball, I wouldn't want any of that, right? And even Michael Jordan now, he do a very, like, it's hard to get Michael Jordan to make a public appearance, for anything, because that attention that comes along with being a face of the league probably was overwhelming. And that's something that Clyde Drexler really don't, I'm sure that he's recognized when he goes to certain places, but for the most part, man, Clyde Drexler probably is just, he probably glad that he didn't get the attention, and wasn't made the face of the league like Michael Jordan was. I think he probably see that as a blessing. And yeah, man, I just think anytime you can had an opportunity to fly under the radar, I think that's the way to go. Especially when it comes and you in the entertainment field, or you play some type of sport or something like that. It's hard to fly under the radar because your picture is out there, people recognize you. But as much as possible, I think that's the way to go. So that's my take on Steph Curry and him being able to fly under the radar. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check you all out in the next video. Peace.